Welcome back to another daily cribbage. Today we're going against Carol, who has, what is that? A massive cat. Alright, opponent's crib, what do we want to give them? We want to keep 669, and if we keep the 4, we keep alive the possibility of a run, which we just happen to get. But of course the 5 is always good for the dealer, so while we do get a run and an extra 15, expect our opponent to get quite a lot of points here. 13's good for us, our opponent underachieves, I think. You expect to get more than 14 when you get a 5 on top, I think. But, alright, what do we want to do here? I'm thinking Queen King, 6-7, 3 King sometimes. Let's just keep all these cards and see if we can make something happen on the play. We have such a wide range of numbers here. Alright, maybe they have a similar hand to us then. Maybe they've got 5, 6, 7 jack. Let's see. 7, 8. Well. 7, 8, jack, jack. Okay. Not a very big hand, so we pull ahead there. 18-24, and we see we've got quite a few ways to keep points here. But I like 4, 4, 6, 7. Let's keep everything close together, and we also keep open the option of getting the double run with all those 5s. We could possibly go 6 here, but I don't want to have to calculate that, so we will just take this 31 and hopefully dodge a 7. 888 queen, our opponent gets 6 points, takes them up to 25. Hopefully not too many in the crib. Right. Oh, and now an interesting decision. It's possible to keep ace, ace, 4, 4 here. Any 10 card gives us 12. I quite like that, but the computer doesn't usually. Let's just take a few guaranteed points. Okay, we ended up getting 12 anyway, which is really nice. We'll let our opponent get lots of points if they had a 2 and 5 there. Instead, we keep it all below 31 to begin with, and then we get a go. Yeah, we'll come back to that hand, I think, because it's interesting to see the exact stats for that one. We'll go ace 8, it's fairly safe. We can also go 8 queen here, that's also pretty safe, but and they also offer pretty similar amounts of points. See if our opponent goes 10 here, they don't. So maybe they've got double 4 left, 4, 5, that kind of thing. Yeah, 3, 4. That is one of my favorite hands right there. 3, 3, 4, 8 as dealer. And let's check in with the score. 55, 53. Our crib. Keep the double run for 8 points. It is all 10s, so we're gonna lose points on the play here often. But that's okay because we're the dealer and we get to... Oh, we get 3 points out of this run. That's very fortunate. Of course, that happens sometimes if our opponent bleeds a high card and they've only got low cards left, but with that, it takes us to 70 points plus. This is going to be another one I'll like to look at as well. I think the computer will like throwing ace 8. But it should be noted that 8 jack is also a pretty fine discard. Yeah, there we go, 3, 5, 7 points for us. 2 points on the play. I don't expect to get much more. It might have a jack or a 5. Okay, so we get up to 81. Our opponent is catching up. They've got 77 here. The computer actually likes... Oh, it does like 8 jack. I guess 8 jack's a pretty safe play, so it likes throwing that away. In our crib, we're unfortunately going to have to throw away king 10. Famously the worst discard on average, but it has high variance, so it's got that going for us. We make 15 and 31. What else do you want from me? That is excellent. We're going to hopefully make it to 96. Not quite. We don't pick up any extra points in the crib. We can throw away 8, 9 here. Or we can just throw away 9 queen or 8 queen. I think I like 8 queen. Really safe. Not doing anything crazy. We take these 6 points from tripling the 4. Nine queen means that we don't have to worry about our opponent hitting double runs in the crib, which is one of our big worries, which they would have done if we threw away 8. No, they would have just got 5 points in the crib, but it's one of the big worries we have there. 8, 10. Very nice. Oh, we got 12 points in hand, up to 117. Now, we can just play slowly here. We don't have to double that 6. We don't need to worry about anything. And we can even go very slowly again. See, we can... I think we dodged a bullet there. Well, not really. Even with an extra 6 points, our opponent's not going out. So, what did we get? We got quite a lot of points on the play, which was nice. A lot of points in hand and lost out a bit in the crib. Let's jump back to that hand with that we had a look at earlier. This is the hand I want to have a look at. Ace, ace, 4, 4, 7, queen. Our opponent's at 31, we're at 30. We're looking to try and get 14 points over... Well, if we get it as the dealer, that would be pretty great, but we only really need to get it as dealer and pawn in order to be in a nice position. And we're looking at a hand that's got some interesting combo potential. Ace, ace, 4, 4. With any 10 count card, that gives us 12 points. And that's often one of the things that you'll want to do in this position if your last 2 cards especially combo well. For instance, if our last 2 cards were, I don't know, Jack Queen, or even 7, 8, and they already made a combo, you very happily do that. That's an instant thing. But here, our 4, 4 combos with the 7. So we have 4, 4, 7 in hand. We also have ace, ace, 4, 4 queen. So dropping any one of the aces and 4s. So throwing away ace 7, 4, 7. Those are things we could consider as well to keep 6 points in hand. And so the natural question for those would be, is it better to throw away ace 7 or 4, 7? I think they're very close, and we're going to put that to the test. We'll put that into our online discard average computer. But I think they're pretty close because the way that ace 7 and 4, 7 go to 15 is with another 7 or another 4. respectively. And, well, we hold already a 7 in our hand, and we hold a couple of 4s in hand, so the only other thing is that 4 is closer to 7, so there's a possibility for making some runs from 4 to 7, but that's quite rare because we have to go through 5 and 6, and our opponent is not going to throw away many 5s. Instead, maybe the other thing that throwing away 7 does is it makes sure that we get some value from random 8s our opponent throws away. So of the discards, the ones that are sort of coming to mind more for me are overall it's A7, 4-7 or double ace in order to keep the 4-4-7 in hand. And of those, there's also 7 queen that we can throw away. Of course, this is the one that we would want to do, but my intuition was that 7 queen is just such a bad thing to throw into our crib. I don't want to do that. I thought the 7 queen's going to score less in the crib than A7 or 4-7. So I was much more tempted to keep those, and I thought, well, keeping a hand like ace, 4 queen, maybe that's going to score better than keeping a hand like ace 4-4. Maybe that's also not true. Maybe if you keep ace 4-4 and you're going up against a hand of your opponent's that has a lot of high cards, you might keep the aces to the end and you might get a pair of aces on the play. That's very possible. So keeping ace 4 queen means that you've got another card, the queen, that will allow you to jump up on the play. So what's my answer? My answer is I'm really not sure. I want to know exactly what are the differences between A7 and 4-7. Okay, let's see what happens. It suggests the ace 7 of clubs. Oh, did we throw away suited or unsuited? That's a good question. And let's change up the columns and give ourselves some more decimals. Okay, so throwing away the suited A7 it likes the most. That seems very reasonable. Then, and what do we see in the averages? It has a fairly high average hand score. It's a little bit lower than throwing away 4-7. So ace 4 queen scores slightly more than ace 4-4 queen for whatever reason, but that's only a tiny amount. We can basically say they're the same. In the crib, the A7 scores more than the 4-7, so I assume that's because the 15s are more impactful in the crib. We'll have a look at the histograms in a moment. So after those 4 discards, so the A7s, the 4-7s, then we get the 7 queen in 5th place, which is exactly what we thought. The hand score there, yeah, let's look at the hand scores. For 7 queen, the hand score average is a little bit lower, but that standard deviation, 3.16, much higher than the ones above it. And that's because you're making 12 so much often. Let's see how that takes shape in the histograms. So, yeah, check that out. So, in the hand, the top 4, basically all the same distribution, right? You score 6 a third of the time, you score 8 a quarter of the time, you score 10 a quarter of the time, and the rest of the time you score 12. 7 queen, though, a third of the time you're scoring 12, so that's pretty nice if you really need to get a big score in your hand for some reason. Some of the time you're scoring 4, a quarter of the time you're scoring 4. So if your hand doesn't improve in any way, and there's a lot of ways for your hand not to improve, and the rest of the time you're either getting 6 or 8. A quarter of the time you get 8. I guess that's from things like 6s and 9s, I guess. And maybe a 5 gives you 6 points. 2, 4, 6, yeah. Okay, and the cribs. So if you throw away A7, your crib, what's the difference in these histograms? Well, if you throw away 4-7, you get a bit more of a spike at 2 points, but you start to extend the tail a little bit more. Is that true? I think so. You got a bit of a tail on the distribution here from in the top view, from A7 being thrown away. And if we compare that, let's compare these ones. So they're fairly similar. I guess the median gets pushed down a little bit when you throw away 4-7. When you throw away 7 queen, though, yeah, you get a lot higher chance of scoring 2 in the crib. Strangely enough, your probability of scoring 0 in the crib goes down a little bit. Don't know why that is. Maybe your opponent throws away queens into the crib in order to... And if your opponent throws away a queen into the crib in the top ones, there's a chance that you're going to score 0 that way. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else to note that's important? The highlighted cells give you the maximums in those columns. So if you want to maximize the score in your crib for some reason, you could throw away 4-4. Maybe you have a bet to get the highest scoring crib. And that would be the way to do it, since 4-4 has a very high standard deviation. So there's a chance you'll hit something really big. But yeah. So I think this is the moral, is in this situation specifically, 7 queens are a really bad thing to throw into the crib. And so even though ace 4-4 is something cool to keep in the hand because it does have a fairly high average hand score, it's not worth doing here. The crib score is just far too low. It's only 3.21. We lose out on a lot of value, and even the hand score is fairly low as well. And we just get this. We don't have to risk such a high variance. We don't have to worry about hitting only 4s, and only the reason why the average is so high is because we get 12 so much of the time. We can guarantee ourselves at least 6 points and look to improve. Throw away A7 or 4-7. So just as an example, if the last 2 cards were good at comboing, I think that here it's much more likely that you'd want to throw away 10 Jack. If you actually do want to do that, it remains to be seen. Yeah, there you go. 10 Jack. It combos well in the crib. The average crib there is about 4.6, so you don't mind taking a slight hit in your hand score in order to boost your overall average score. Of course, you might look at the standard deviations and go, whoa, 3.28, 3.12 in the crib and the hand for throwing away 10 Jack. Maybe that's not a risk I want to take. And towards the end of the game, if you just need to make those points, it's a risk you don't need to take, and you can happily throw away 4-10 or ace-10 or 4 Jack. Okay, I think that was a good game today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.